In this video, I want to talk to you about the benefits of using the new gain and expo settings on the DJI Mini 3 Pro. This is the old tripod mode that is finally back. Let's get straight into the video. So we had a dedicated tripod mode years ago on the old Mavic drones and then just disappeared. We've not seen it for years, and eventually this has now come back and it's baked in to the gain and expo settings. We saw it introduced on the Mavic 3 and Mavic 3 Classic a few months ago, and this allowed us to control the speed of the drone. So not just the speed of it going sideways, but also its forwards and back motion. You see, on these latest drones now, we have Cine, Normal and Sports. So in Cine, which is short for Cinematic, we want this drone to be flying really slow. But unfortunately, the standard cinematic mode, when you first get your drone and your controller, it's too fast. We want it to be a lot slower. So Philip Bloom was one of the main guys for actually trying to get this to come back. And finally, we now have it. So not only on the Mavic 3, but we now have it on the Mini 3 Pro as well. So in this video, I want to talk to you about how you get it set up and the benefits of using this. So the key benefit is now you can go into your settings, you can go into your gain and control settings, and you can actually reduce the speed of the aircraft. So now you can get these really slow cinematic shots. So we can bring this right down from say 6 or 7 meters per second all the way down to 1 meter per second, which means this drone is going to fly in either forwards, backwards or sideways motion really slow. And then like you can see on the screen now, you get these really stunning shots. It's super slow, super cinematic, and it's great for getting different types of shots. So these are good for say opener shots or just flying through objects, flying low to the ground, flying next to something. It's a lot better rather than these fast, high-paced shots all the time. So don't use this all the time. It'll make quite a long, boring video, but it's certainly good to mix this in your normal drone shots as well. So to get this to work, make sure you've got the latest DJI firmware update. Now I did a video on this, I'll link at the end of this video, but it is version 1.00.500. It's quite a big update, and it gives an update for both the DJI Fly update and this firmware update. Without doing that, you won't be able to reduce the speed enough. Once you do that, you can reduce it then to 1 meter per second. And then if you go down to the very bottom of that menu as well, you'll be able to see that you can reduce or increase the speed of the gimbal. So you want to reduce it as well. So for me in Cine mode, I've just now got everything set to 1 meter per second for the speeds. But right at the very bottom, I've also reduced the speed of the gimbal tilt, which means that when I'm flying and I want to do some gimbal tilts either up or down, it's not going to be fast, which just looks stupid to have a fast gimbal motion and then have a really slow actual aircraft. So everything needs to match. So I've got mine really slow, so my gimbal rotates up and down super slow, just like the aircraft is also going forward or sideways really slow. On the Mini 3 Pro, it also works in horizontal and vertical modes, so you can switch the gimbal around and you can get your Cine mode super slow in vertical as well. And what's also great is that if you go into your hyperlapse settings, you can also go to hyperlapse, and then the speed of the drone, you can also reduce that as well. So that is much slower as well. The only downside to the Mini 3 Pro compared to the Mavic 3 Classic is because of its size, it is so much smaller than the Mavic 3. So they can both go the same speeds, but this is going to struggle a bit more in the wind. And because it's going really slow in high winds, it's going to drift around a lot more than the Mavic 3 or the Mavic 3 Classic. It's going to try and fight the wind as much as it can, but you will see, because it's going so slow, any side movements whatsoever. So you're going to have to try and compensate for that on the sticks. So if it's getting blown around a little bit to the right hand side, just push forward a little bit on the left hand side as you're flying forwards, just to make sure it's trying to be as straight as possible. And to compensate for that, I would have the drone fairly low to the ground. These shots look great when you've got loads of like trees or obstacles around them in that area, and you're basically just flying straight through them, really nice and slow. So it's not a type of a shot you want to be using really high up, like 100 meters high, because it just looks a bit boring then. These are the type of shots you want to be doing where you've got things around it, flying through obstacles, getting close to things. These shots just look great. It's also great for indoor flying as well, because it's really nice and slow now. You can get these really intricate movements and you're not going to be crashing it into any walls or anything indoors. So to get this, go make sure you update to the latest firmware on your controller. This is fantastic. I've been really enjoying using this on the Mavic 3. And now we've got it on the Mini 3 Pro, even better. So I'm going to be using this a lot this next few months. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this tripod mode? Are you going to be using it? I think it's great. So I'm always going to be using it now in Cine mode and normal and sports. I'm just going to keep it as I did before. But fantastic news. I hope you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe if you're new around here. If you want to check out the firmware video I did on this, I'll link it here. And if you want to check out a cinematic video on the Mavic 3 Classic to show you the quality of this drone, I'll put that here. See you in the next one. Bye bye.